Books written by angels. There are books that are written by angels, some good, some bad. Some you can find, some you can't. Many cannot find them, few can. So, sapphire. Why does God use sapphire over and over for his tools given to man? Sapphire represents many things, but it is known as love and commitment, wisdom and knowledge, peace and serenity, protection, luck, health, and a royal stone. Sapphire is used first in the Garden of Eden. It was a tablet or book that was given to Adam from an angel of God. And when Adam would read it, the other angels would come around to gain knowledge of the secrets of God. Isn't it written within the Bible that we have now that the angels themselves long to know these things, long to know them and have understanding? So it's interesting that the angels would come around Adam when he would read this book. And I asked God, I said, are these the angels that read and then taught? Only he knows, right? And then God sent an angel, and I know the angel's name, but I will not say it, sent it to Adam and told Adam that the book was for him only, and it was not to be shared with the angels. And so Adam took the book and he hid it, and he began to read it in secret. And the book was passed down through the bloodline from Adam to Seth to Enoch. Well, before Enoch, well, you guys know what I'm saying, from Adam to Seth to Enoch to Noah. It is said to have found its way all the way to Solomon. And once it was in Solomon's care, the book was lost in a fire, supposedly. We don't know, though, do we? The book may come up. I have asked God to allow me to have such books. I would love to have them and house them for him. Alrighty. Let's see here. Okay, so then I said, we also have the staff of Moses that was a sapphire rod with the name of God written upon it. And we have the first 10 commandments written by the hand or the finger of God, and that was sapphire. And then we know that Moses' tablets were sapphire as well, but he had to write them himself. After he smashed the ones written by God. Oh, can you imagine? I mean, wow. He was mad, y'all. We also have sapphire upon the breastplate worn by the priest, and it represents the tribe of Dan. There is a book of Noah, and the book of Noah is quoted in Enoch and in Jubilees by Abraham. Abraham mentions books that were written by his forefathers, and he also says that he has the sayings of Enoch and the sayings of Noah. And this is when he is giving instruction to his son Isaac. Noah also wrote a book of healing, and within it, it gave the counter to the attacks of the demons. But that is also lost or hidden at this time. I want to point out that Noah was only called Noah by his grandfather. His known name was Menahem, and in his grandfather's generation, they were deep into sorcery, and he was afraid that Noah would be apprehended if they knew his real name, and so he kept it hidden. Menahem means comforter. Adam asked God, how long would the ground be cursed? And God answered him and said, until a male child is born that needs no circumcision. And that child was Noah, and he was born circumcised, like the angels. And I said, this is interesting because Noah's first act after the flood was to make a sacrifice, and then he planted a vineyard. But did he plant a vineyard? Because the word is husband, right? We'll look into that further down the line here. And Jesus' first miracle recorded is he turned the water into wine at a wedding. Do you see the beauty? There, Noah survives the flood, which is water, and he plants a vineyard. Jesus, who has power over the water, makes wine from the water. The ground wouldn't grow everything, just wheat and oats. And when Noah was born, it began to produce other things. And Noah, and Noah invented the plow, the scythe, the hoe, and other implements for cultivating the ground. Before that, men just used their hands. Noah's birth brought a state of order back into the world. The animals did not rebel against Noah as they did Adam. So I found my way to an interesting book, and within the book, I'm going to read some things to you. Now, I don't know if this is midrash or actually true, but it is interesting nonetheless. And I would say glean from it which that you want. So the fall of Azazel and Shemhazazi, or Simjaza, as many of you know him, Simjaza. But in this story, his name was Shemhazazi. It came about this way. When the generation of the flood began to practice idolatry, God was deeply grieved. Shemhazi and Azazel arose and said, Lord of the world, it has happened that which we foretold at the creation of the world and of man, saying, what is man that thou art mindful of him? And God said, and what will become of the world now without man? Whereupon the angels will occupy ourselves with it. Then God said, I am well aware of it, and I know that if you inhabit the earth, evil inclination will overpower you, and you will be worse than men. The angels pleaded, "Grant us permission to dwell among men, and thou shalt see how we sanctify thy name." God granted their wish, and said, "Descend and sojourn among men." When they came to earth and beheld the daughters of men in all their grace and beauty, they could not restrain their passion. Shimhazi saw a maiden by the name of Ishihar, and he lost his heart to her. She promised to surrender herself to him if he told her God's infallible name. And he told it to her, and when she said it, she ascended to heaven and became a star. This did not stop Shimhazi and Azazel from entering into alliances with the daughters of men. And the first two sons were born to Shemhazazi. Azazel began to devise the finery and ornaments by which means women allure men. God sent Metatron, also known as Enoch, to tell them that the flood was coming. And Shemhazazi began to weep. He began to weep for his two sons, for daily they needed 1,000 camels, 1,000 horses, and 1,000 steers to eat. Shemyazi's two sons' names were Hiwa and Haya. Shemhazi repented and hung himself between heaven and earth in the position of a sinner, and there he hangs to this day. Azazel persisted in his sin, leading mankind astray, unlike Ishtihar Nama, the sister of Tubal-Cain, led the angels astray with her beauty, and from her union with Shamdan, she gave birth to Asmodeus. And I said, "Is Nama another name for Lilith?" Question mark. I'll look into that later. She was shameless as the descendants of Cain, prone to bestial indulgences. Cain's descendants walked around naked and gave themselves up to lewd practices. Once the angels sinned with women, they lost their transcendental qualities and were invested with sublunary bodies, so that a union with the daughter of men became possible. They bore giants known by many names: Imen, Raphaim, Gibron, my favorite, Zamzuman, or Anakim, and Ivrim, lastly by the name Nephilim. Those on the earth in those days could command the sun and moon to stand ready to do their service. Pregnancy only lasted a few days, and the babies came out walking, talking, and they helped cut their navel strings. God gave the book from the angel to Adam, and then he also gave it to Noah, so that he would know the same things that Adam knew, and to help him build the ark. When Noah studied the book, the Holy Spirit came upon him, and he knew all that he needed to know for the building of the ark. The book was made of sapphires, and Noah took the book with him into the ark, placing it into a golden box. I'm laughing because the golden box that I see is the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant on the ark. For they never found what was inside the sarcophagus in the Pyramid of Giza. However, its measurements are the same measurements as the Ark of the Covenant. And if Enoch built that, did they have an Ark of the Covenant in pre-flood days? So Noah had the book, and he placed it in the golden box. And it served him as a timepiece. And before his death, he left it to Shem, who left it to Abraham. And from Abraham, it went to Jacob, Levi, Moses, Joshua, and Solomon. After the flood, Noah found the vine, which Adam had taken with him from paradise. And Noah tasted the grapes, and they were good. And there he tended to the vine and made wine. I just love how God is so generous with me. I just absolutely love it. Real fast, I'm going to look up Noah makes wine. Let's see here, because I want to read that Bible verse. Because I'm, in my mind's eye, I'm seeing the particular wording of that verse. So let us find it. Genesis 9:21 is after that. Okay. Okay, so it says, and Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. You know, that always stuck out to me. Let's see if we can get more here on what does it mean he became a husbandman. Strong's. Okay, so it basically means a worker of the soil, a farmer, a farm laborer, a vine dresser. Isn't that interesting? A vine dresser. And the book that I came upon today was Fragments, and it said that Noah found the vine. And it was the vine from paradise that Adam brought out of it. Very interesting. It's very interesting stuff, isn't it, you guys? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wait 1 second. Yo. Yo. George Goss. Wait. Hold on. I hear God laughing right now because he's like, is she getting it? Is she getting it? Is that the same? Oh my gosh. It is. It's almost like they're named George. Oh. Anyways, I cannot go any further into that at this time because it's special revelation for me. But isn't that interesting about husbandmen? A vine dresser. Interesting. All right, if I have more, I will come back. I mean, I do have more, but I don't know if I want to come back and talk about it. Later, guys.